Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.
Some line from the Kendrick diss I didn't have time to look up. Welcome welcome, little mamas and Gentiles alike, to another phenomenal episode of My Momma Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked to prove the conspiracy theories of you, the listeners. It's a motherfucking mini episode.
Motherfucking mini episode. And what a phenomenal rebuttal. It took a long time, but goddamn did this motherfucker.
That shit hurt my feelings.
Brother, I've been reeling ever since. There's very little that I personally feel like in common with Drake, right? Like I think that,
I don't think
that
you're similar.
Personally, that's not like a person that I want to be or sort of see myself in, but there is something, and I think this sort of speaks to the way that culture is. There is something in seeing someone who looks like you be annihilated that makes you get defensive.
Does it feel like you could catch it? You're catching a stray?
It felt like it was Kendrick saying "fuck Drake" and Langston. You know what I mean? Like he's like whispering my name underneath it.
You too, bitch ass nigga.
It was hurting my feelings, and I listened to it like 5 times in a row, and I was like, God damn, he didn't even, and he only slightly touched that Drake's a pedophile. Only grazed it.
Just the tip.
He just gave a little taste and said, I'm not even going to go that far because I respect that you got a nice R&B
career.
Bro,
you know what would hurt my feelings is if you diss me and you're not rapping in a way that feels like you're going to be out of breath.
Right.
Like, give me all your motherfucking wind. Don't, you know what I'm saying? It was like so relaxed. Like, oh yeah.
That's a really good way to put it. He opens with that sort of like A-B ass rhyme, and it's mean right from the beginning. You're like, God damn, this nigga is gonna take his time. 6 minutes of just making me feel low. Bro, it's fucking
You know
crazy.
What reminded me of is in 8th grade, we had this dude, Mr. Lyle, and he was like such a bad. Did you ever have a teacher who was like a white? You could tell he was maybe more a rich guy in like kind of a poor school, and he couldn't hang. He was like that. Like at one point, he yelled at us and he was like, I don't know how you can remember all the words to these rap lyrics, but you're you know what I mean? He was like that kind of guy. You know what I mean? And there was this one, I felt bad for him. There was this one white kid who sat in the front, and they used to bully this kid like, it is pretty terrible, but like when he was like, we don't want to hear you say nigga, it was like them whispering to that kid. You know what I mean? Like it was just like a mean bully.
Yeah, no, he told him he dresses bad. He
said,
told
I hate the way that you dress.
He said, you have no relationship with your son.
No.
You don't wake him up in the morning, which just felt icky.
So bad.
But you know Drake doesn't wake his son up. You know what I mean?
He knows. I don't think Drake has ever heated up an Uncrustable. I don't think he's opened up a Juicy Juice. I don't think that's his get down.
I think he's got those blinds on the automatic setting, and they open up, and a TV turns on, and that little odd-looking baby just sort of watches Puppy Pals until an adult finally sobers up and steps in.
He said, well, you say next to Sexy Red, you see 2 bad bitches? That shit was crazy.
No, it was mean. And I'm excited. I like that rap is beefing unnecessarily. It's not even like this came from some real place, but apparently it is a very real place. Apparently everybody's hated Drake this entire time.
Is that a surprise though? You know, in in our industry, there are people who are famous who everybody hates. That's that's why it makes sense to me. It's like I see the parallels where I'm like, oh, that makes sense to me that Drake's like, nobody likes this dude, but he's popping.
There are, but I guess I'm more surprised at how many of them were sort of like his closest collaborators. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't surprise me that a bunch of motherfuckers don't like Drake. I can see that easy, but it did surprise me that like it was a list of what I thought were Drake's best friends all being like, man, I've hated your guts for years.
I think it's just
fuck you.
That's so cool. He must feel so bad right now.
He's got to feel insanely low.
And who does he call?
No, I don't. Just the OVO camp. He calls 40, I guess.
Are we even sure those are real people?
He shouts out people all the time that I've never heard of and have never
That's
seen
what I'm saying.
Anywhere.
OVO, who's in OVO? Who's in it?
40.
And
40. 40's wheelchair.
It's just like, and I get it. You made up a fake gang to impress your other friends. I understand. Yeah, it's a bummer because I get it though. It's also like, as a soft, sensitive guy, I also feel it where I'm like, damn, it feels like he's coming to me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody who has any weakness anywhere in them is.
Yeah, no, I think weak men united in both our fear and appreciation for the Kendrick diss. Where you're like, damn, that's a dude. That's a centered adult.
That is a grown man
talking down to a child.
He's not writing checks based on foolery, which is pretty much my full bank account. You ever get a check and you're like, damn, I talked about pussy for this.
Yeah, no, it's really cool when you're like, this was a scam. Yeah. I think I just scammed the system.
Yeah, and I ain't done a burpee since junior high. That's crazy though.
We gotta get you back doing burpees, man.
No, that sucks. Burpees suck. Have you done burpees? They're like the worst, bro.
They do suck, but they're effective, I think.
Yeah, that's why they do it in prison, right?
Yeah. I've heard. I don't know. I've never been.
You never did burpees, though? You never had to do it in, like, high school? Or
no, I do them now,
you do burpees now?
Yeah, but...
Do you do the Kendricks where you end with the, like, where you face towards Allah and you end with the...
No, I'm a sinner. Oh. I don't... There's no...
I like that. I like that.
There's no praise and worship attached to my working out. There's just self-hatred and a desperate want to make 5 to 10 pounds leave my body.
I mean, honestly, I think both things are as effective.
Self-hatred and worship of God.
Yeah. Either way, they'll probably get you to where you need to be going.
I think we all just need a motivator, and whatever that motivator is, be it self-hatred.
You have a family.
Yeah.
I love that your hatred for yourself is a higher motivator.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to pull back on this. Yes.
It's complicated.
I've hated myself my whole life. I just got a family.
That's true. They're new to this.
I met them recently.
Oh, man.
I barely know my daughter, but me, I know me well. And no thanks to me.
I know my true intentions.
Yeah.
And they are murky at best.
Don't fucking like me, so I gotta keep working.
Anyways, we're not just here to talk about why Langston's got those killer abs that he's got.
I wish.
No, you could get away. Bro, if I was if you're like a thin, not shirt off guy, why don't you just lie and say you have abs? You think these fucking people know any different?
The problem is, and I've been thinking about this recently. The problem is that for casting, I often get casted as a dude with abs, and that gets complicated when the reveal happens and you ain't got what they were hoping for.
Oh, that is a new kind of body shame I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Yo, so they're like, you called in as a heartthrob, and they're like, okay, take it off.
And it's,
you got like a low muscle tone Ethiopia body.
It's just regular.
That's hard.
You know what's crazy? It's not even bad. It's not even like, what the type shit.
No,
it's
you
just,
have a nice body.
Thanks, man. It's just not good. You know what I mean? And when they cast you as a heartthrob for television, they're like, it's got to be good. You got to take it off.
That shit got to be tight.
Yeah, it's got to fucking.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh man, I got that same body. We could have casted me for that. And
damn.
Like, what you want from me? I tell jokes. Y'all are idiots.
Yeah, you're the one
made
who
this about
it.
vanity.
Man, I've never been a heartthrob, but I think I could do it for a season. I don't think I could live that lifetime.
I think a lot of people feel that way. I think they're like, oh, I would like to be the heartthrob. And then I think what you want is for it to be temporary. I don't think you want it to be a permanent issue. I think.
No.
Look at Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? I think.
Bro, people always call me a hater. I've maintained I think he's a terrible actor.
I don't think he's a terrible actor. I don't think he's a great one.
Okay, that's not fair. I don't think he's a great. I think there are very few movie stars who are as poor of an actor as he is.
I think that's fair.
Does that make sense? There's just no personality on anything he does. Like Will Smith, man, regardless of where he is right now,
great actor.
Such a charismatic person. You know what I mean? So many of these movie stars, so charismatic. Michael B. Jordan is just like, he's just so boring to me. Throw me in the waves with my ancestors.
Yeah, I think.
Like, okay, man.
And I think he found himself in a very unfortunate position where so much of his casting, booking, value was connected to him having that sexy ass body.
Yeah.
And then it became like, okay, well, I have to just be more sexy body than even talented individual. Right. You know what I mean? Like we are wanting to see the abs more than we're even expecting you to have range. And now he can't move his shoulders all the way. So even if he wanted to play, you know, a different kind of role, it just is a buff ass dude pretending. It's not a fucking, you know what I mean?
And I say this knowing fully well that I would have been the person. You remember when that lady interviewed him and he like made fun of her for calling him corny? That, you want to talk about, that was my Drake diss.
I was happy for him.
But I was like, man, there's somebody that I was not cool to, I'm sure.
Oh, you felt like you were the lady more than you felt like you were him.
Way more. I'm not that rich.
Oh.
Me and the lady's bank accounts are closer than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do all right, but I don't own anything. You know what I mean?
I guess I wasn't thinking about it in terms of wealth. I was just more like, emotionally, I remember people who, you know, were not nice, and it was like a great hero moment for him to be like, hey, I remember, but it's okay. It's okay, bitch.
But also, let's be honest, he was corny in high school.
Of course.
I'm going to be an actor.
Of course.
Shut the fuck up.
Of course. I would have made fun of him too. I'm not the hero in this story.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But we all have enemies. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was nice to see somebody
come out on top.
Get to confront their enemy and be classy. It was cool.
It's cool, but the bad part of me I only want to see bullies physically bested.
Oh,
I'm not saying he should have hit that woman, but I'm saying that, like, had he got his girlfriend to do it, I would think that was cool.
Yeah, it would have been cool if he went, hey, lady bodyguard.
Yeah. Then she dropped that bitch.
Just a lady in a 3-piece black suit just comes and karate chops the shit out of this lady from his high school.
I wish I could tell you how many times in my life I wish I had lady hitters to go. Whenever I've needed them, I've never had one. But because I got bullied more by girls.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I remember just being like, I wish I had a sister. It was not even bullying in the same way, but it's just like, yo, this girl's on my fucking bumper all the time, you know?
Right. I just need somebody that's going to make them shake
scared.
A little more shaky in their behavior.
But not on my bumper in the way where it's like maybe I could convert it into getting some. You know
right. This isn't flirting. This is just antagonizing.
Yeah. Shout out to all the girls who wore Dickies.
Fuck.
You remember Dickies girls? That's like such a specific genre.
We can't talk about this all day. We got an email.
Olivia said, pitch, this could be the mini episode. Fighting girls.
Combination. Remember Drake said
that? Yeah, I do. Man, and this is the end of it. When he started speaking in that Canadian accent,
it's tough, man. And that's
because we all think you guys talk funny up there.
There's so much footage of him being a little dweeb, and they're just gonna keep Metro's gonna like mix in just bad Degrassi clip to bad Degrassi clip into everybody's shit. It's gonna go on forever, and I just don't know if Drake has the stamina. I will say this to his credit and we'll move on from this in a second. To his credit, he has shown more fight than I thought he could, given the circumstances against him.
I mean, to be a rapper, you have to be able to take a punch.
And I do think
even the bad rappers, like, you gotta, because it's just that's just how that shit is. You know what I mean?
And I do think, like him or not, Drake is a great rapper. Like, I do think he legitimately, like, he's funny, and he kind of like is able to kind of like do bits, you know, even when he's
in his lane. The only thing is, I agree with Kendrick. The only thing I don't like is the tough talking shit. Really, everything else is like, but everything else he does, it's fun, man.
Yeah, he's a fun guy, and so it's
always got a great summer song. Always got a great summer song.
Dude, Passion Fruit is better than everybody who's ever dissed him. You know what I mean? Like, that song enough is better than anything anybody else has made.
Drake gets me on shit that's not even for me. You know how much I like Nice for What? Like, for real, like, I love that song.
It's a great song.
It's so good. It has nothing to do with me.
No. In fact, it's you're part of the problem in the song.
I'm the one who wants her to be nice to him. I'm the one who's like, you should.
He was talking to them Dickie girls when he
don't
wrote
do that
song.
Don't bring them back up.
All right, we got an email.
20 minutes in, we got an email.
20 minutes in, we got an email from a person named Shelly. Shelly sent us an email, and she said, hi, David and Langston. I was recently introduced to your podcast via the socials. I love the podcast. Like, legit fuck with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm working my way through the episodes, and I'm not sure if you guys have already covered this, so my bad if you did. I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, and growing up there was an urban legend going around the city about the Bunny Man. It was a man dressed in a bunny suit going around attacking people with a big ass knife. It had the kids in my neighborhood shook. I'm not sure if it was just a black neighborhood thing, but people who I met at college, HBCU, from this region also knew about the Bunny Man. Was that a thing in your neighborhoods growing up? Thanks for sharing your craft, Best, Shelly.
Not at all.
Never heard of the Bunny Man before in my life.
I mean, it's really interesting. I don't know if it's a timing thing, because that seems to be like a more of a 70s, 80s thing than a 90s thing. Like, this idea of like some mass predator, you know what I mean? Or even like even growing up, I didn't hear about it. Like, even in the media, like there weren't a lot of serial killers or anything like that. Does that make, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the serial killer part of it. I will say, and we've talked about it a few times on the podcast, Homie the Clown was a very real thing for Chicago kids. And that certainly in the 90s was still a thing we believed and were telling people about and all that shit of like this murderous man in a clown in a white or clown costume in a white van snatching up babies. But I do take your point that it certainly felt more like an active threat probably in the 70s and 80s when serial killers were at their height. Why we ain't got serial killers no more?
I don't know, because DC was the last one that I remember that it was like, we as a nation were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we got school shootings now, though.
That's true. And that's almost serial killing, but like faster.
Which I don't know how to word this correctly.
I'm excited either way.
I was talking to my girl the other day, and I remember I was telling her about how one time, I told you, I went to a bunch of schools. One of the schools I went to, one of the junior high schools, it was at the bottom of a hill, and a high school was at the top of the hill, like the adjoining high school or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they had shot somebody at the high school, but it wasn't like Columbine. It was just like one guy shot like two guys.
Yeah.
And we locked down and all that. Like, we couldn't go home for like an hour after school and shit. But that shit wasn't even on the news.
Yeah, but that's poverty, right?
Yes.
Not to shortchange
rescinded.
But it, like,
because Columbine was a very nice school. People don't realize that. It's like a sports powerhouse. It's a very nice school.
I went to school down the street not down the street, but our neighborhood, Oak Park, is adjacent to a neighborhood called Maywood. And they're not right next to each other, but they're pretty close to each other. And Maywood is a predominantly black neighborhood, a lot less money, obviously less funding for the school. There were shootings all the time at Proviso East, the high school that was in Maywood. And that shit was never treated like a real problem. It was just treated like gang violence and sort of retaliation, whatever they were calling it, instead of recognizing that, like, yo, there's something fundamentally broken in our system, whether you, even if you do associate it with gangs, why are we not assessing the greater sort of like problem in the fact that this all exists for these students who have to go to school every single day?
That's fair. 'Cause also, now that I'm thinking about it, we only had to stay after like an hour.
Just long enough for him to calm down.
Like they had like come on the intercom like a little bit before last period, and then they let us go to the buses. Like an hour. Probably like an hour later.
Yeah. No,
which I was pissed. I remember because that's when Dragon Ball Z was on Cartoon Network after school.
Sure.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was during that, and I was like, ugh! But I also wasn't telling anybody I was watching it, so I was doing inside.
It is a crazy thing that we used to have to be like anime heads in secret.
Relax. I watched one show. I'm not a fucking nerd.
Oh, well, I was a fucking nerd, and I couldn't tell nobody nothing.
No, it was not cool. Nobody wanted to, but Dragon Ball Z, it was not. Like, you couldn't be like, Goku's been making this spirit bomb for days.
Listen, I've never been a very big fan of any of my step parents, and I've had more than most.
Sometimes you give a peek behind the curtain, and it's chilling.
Listen, my dad's been married 3, my mom's been married 4. There's a whole lot of these motherfuckers.
That is a lot. Look at you, then you're killing.
I never liked none of them enough. But I will say my mom's second husband used to have like a bunch of the tapes that he, I guess, had either recorded or bought on some weird website, whatever. But he had Dragon Ball Z tapes that I would like watch, and they had like the whole Frieza arc, all the shit.
Wow.
Man, I used to go crazy watching that shit. And then once Cartoon Network finally got Toonami, it was...
So you were before that even?
I've been on anime since I was a boy.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Not a preteen. I was a boy being like, this is the future of me.
That's so... Because I got lucky. I had a friend in elementary school, And he told me about Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball used to come on the WB, the first Dragon Ball. Like when when Goku was a little boy.
Yeah.
And I used to watch that, and then I just happened to fall in to Dragon Ball Z because I was like, oh, I like that. But like it didn't go. And I had seen Ninja Scroll and didn't like it. Because I was just like, I don't want to put a sword in somebody's pussy. I don't think that's cool.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the Bunny Man got us here. And,
I don't either.
And frankly, I'm not sure that matters. I will say that Olivia sent us a little bit of information. She said the Bunny Man is an urban legend that originated from 2 incidents in Fairfax County, Virginia. So that makes sense. Baltimore, Maryland, DMV, all sort of connected. In 1970, you were right. This is a 70s born sort of conspiracy, but has been spread throughout the Washington, D.C. and Maryland areas. The legend has many variations. Most involve a man wearing a rabbit costume who attacks people with an axe or hatchet. So big ass knife, that's just little babies.
Yeah,
translating.
Same thing.
Most of the stories occur around Colchester Overpass, a Southern Railway overpass spanning Colchester Road near Clifton, Virginia, sometimes referred to as Bunny Man Bridge. This motherfucker got his own bridge.
Damn, that makes me feel like that really happened at least once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's scary. There really was a Bunny Man. He just wasn't like still out on the loose.
Right. Ugh. That sucks.
It is the scary thing. And if we can sort of connect the bigger sort of conversation inside of all of this, it is sort of the scary thing of what urban legend is that it often is born from at least some version of a real incident. And so your fears, your parents' fears, all these people who warn you about the horrible things that might happen to you, obviously are sometimes being hyperbolic or extreme in their response. But it's not because it's impossible. It's just that like it's unlikely 99% of the time.
Right. I agree.
Like most of us are not going to encounter the Bunny Man, but somebody will, and that's fucking crazy.
And that's all it takes for it to spread, I feel like. In extreme cases of anything, it's just like, it only needs to happen once,
Yeah, you just need one Bunny Man, and now he can become sort of like this permanent fixture in our minds forever.
And it'll always, it's almost kind of beautiful isn't the word, but it's like such an interesting thing about humanity, how like lore could just live regionally. You know what I'm saying? He stabbed some drunk guy, left Sears after taking pictures all day, stabbed some guy on a bridge, and then we still are talking about it 40 years later, 50 years later.
In a crazy way, it's kind of the only way you really live forever.
I feel like this is an origin story right now. You said like
I think I found my purpose.
You just look off into the distance.
But you know what I'm saying?
I do know.
We've spent our entire lives sort of like wanting to create legacy through being silly billies and telling our jokes and shit. And the unfortunate reality is that these jokes are temporary, and that like whatever permanence we have is eventually going to fade. We can't all remain forever despite our skill or hope, whatever.
Well, that's also our skill being a lot more timely than murder.
Exactly. But like the murder sort of has like an evergreen quality to it, especially if you do it in a crazy enough way.
You're once again venturing back into origin story.
I'm just
the way
saying,
that you're speaking about it.
Look, dog, I'm just saying Jeffrey Dahmer is going to last way longer than Ralph Barbosa. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying the imprint is far more vast. That's my point.
That's true. That's true. We will. It doesn't matter how good your Drake diss joke was nobody will remember in probably 10 years.
No, but fuck, if you fucking chop up a kid and put him in your freezer,
Eat him up.
Eat him up.
Eat him up.
Everybody gonna be like, hey, you know, people be chopping up kids and putting them in freezer just like Langston be doing.
Well, I think we did it.
I think we did it.
I think
if we could put a little bow on this bad boy, Shelly, it sounds like the Bunny Man, while probably not an active threat, you can rest easy, is not completely fabricated. It probably is rooted in some real experience that somebody had on a really fucked up overpass in Virginia. And my best suggestion would be to stay away from said overpass and overpasses in general. Maybe just concentrate on getting your ass home and connecting with the people who care about you so that the Bunny Man or a Bunny Man-like figure does not find you in the future.
100%. 100%.
You want to tell the people where they can find you and what cool shit you got?
Oh, yeah. Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram. I am shooting my own special, self-funded, producing it myself. It's called Birth of a Nation, spelled with a G. There will be some graphics. Cool.
That's funny. That's very funny.
There will be some graphics forthcoming. But I'm shooting it in Denver, May 18th. I would love for you to come out and get tickets. If not, it's going to come out about a month later. Sign up for my Patreon, patreon.com/David Borey. All the content is free. I've given you just little tour stories, videos. I do front-facing Fridays. It's the whole thing. The only thing I will ever charge you for is the $10 for that special. But go online, and if you're in Denver, buy tickets. I would love to see as many little mamas there as possible. So that, once again, patreon.com/David Borey and Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram.
Okay. Go see the special. Go do that.
We're almost sold out. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's fucking beautiful. I'm excited to see it all come together. And as always, you can follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms. I'm available wherever you want to find me. Oh, and if you are in the Los Angeles area this weekend, we are almost sold out at the Comedy Store.
Yes.
May 5th, David's birthday, 7 p.m. sharp. We got to start on fucking time with this one. We really
do, because they're fucking us.
We cannot afford to waste a minute. So we are starting at 7 p.m. sharp. We're excited for you all to come out. It's part of the Netflix It's a Joke Comedy Festival. And again, the tickets are almost sold out, but we would love for you to be there. So come on out. Come do the thing. And if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories, if you want to tell us that the individuals you know to have been personally attacked by the Bunny Man, send it all to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Buy the merch. We hope that the merch is moving and continues to be. We want to see it live. Show up with fucking hats and t-shirts.
We'll sign your titties.
Yeah, we'll sign the merch, and hey, we'll sign what's underneath the merch.
Come on, baby. I mean? Have you ever signed a titty before?
I have 2 titties so far in my career.
You know, I want to know one of my proudest stats. I signed a titty before I ever did stand-up comedy.
Holy shit!
Yeah, the house party I was really going for it for a while.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing that you didn't peak right there.
Some would say I did.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And she kept it on. The whole, like, I don't know, I guess she wouldn't have washed off her titty at the party, but it was...
Yeah, I was about to say, that part's not as surprising.
That's the problem with those disposable cameras, though. You can't even find the pictures.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Olivia's right. Also, we're going to sell merch there.
Yeah, merch at the live show. So if you do not show up with a hat or a t-shirt or a pin, we can fix that. We can solve that problem right there.
And as always, cash is king. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why not?
Because you bring cash, maybe we don't have to cut everybody in. We give Olivia a little taste, let her wet her beak, and then me and Langston
Maybe Will Ferrell doesn't have to see any kickback.
He's doing great. You've all seen Anchorman.
He's fine. And most importantly, if like, subscribe, rate, review, do whatever you're supposed to do to make this podcast thrive. That certainly is everything we needed to say. Bye, bitch.
Wait, ooh. Oh my gosh, the cat. Get the cat out of here. Oh, absolutely not. Cat, you got to go.
Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.